I am using my TomTom Rider 400. And this is my Garmin 376C. And this is my phone GPS system. It is just a phone running an app. The app I like to use is Sygic. There's some other stuff that you can use, but you can see, very difficult to see in direct sunlight. GPS has always been so good. It's so easy to find roads and everything. I can see the roads from a distance. I don't have to struggle with the colors. And the problem is, a lot of the GPSs, they make the maps too aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but they don't take account motorcyclists, direct sunlight, seeing things from a distance. You want to be able to tell like where the squiggly lines are. This GPS, it's a very nice size. It's small, which is good because you can fit it in your bags. But let's talk about the real reason this is not that good. It's the map color. These maps are difficult to see in daylight. And the Garmin 376, you have a low-res screen, but the maps are much nicer to look at. But is there a GPS that can dethrone this? I've been wanting to get into the iPhone and maybe get a tablet with an Android unit, but I just hate that the screens are so bad. But right now, there is another option, and that's what we're going to explore in this video. This is the Carplay version for motorcycles, and we're going to install this on my 1981 Goldwing. So here is the unit that we're going to be installing on the Goldwing. And I've been very happy with the one I have in my car from Carpuride, so I was very interested in getting this. So this is your power button. I don't have any power, I haven't charged it. This has got two screws that open up, and I guess you can put a SD card in there. So it's got the wires already built in so you could power off your bike, and then this kind of holds it together. Let's see what else is in the box. And this is what the rest of the stuff, it's just the wires. So these are the wires that we're going to be using to hook up this to our system. So very simple, I like it. This is the same sort of system that my Zumo uses, and it's got an inline fuse, so that's perfect. Clips onto a handlebar, or you can just use this if you have an existing mount. Here is the mount for my phone, which we're not going to need. So first thing I'm going to do is remove it. The Carpuride mount is actually kind of brilliant because you can mount this on a mirror. So if I wanted to mount this, I can mount this here. Just removing this, that bolts on exactly like this. I prefer it here, honestly. It'll be slightly off. I think for me, I just like the visual of having it cleaner right in the middle. Plastic spacer first, put that on. And then we're gonna get the washer, and now the nut. Get the spacer, put it on there, metal washer, and for the nut. And it's actually kind of tight already, so it's that simple. I'm going to take a 10mm and tighten this down. Or maybe you don't want it to interfere. You kind of push it back if you want, like this. And the way I tighten is like a little bit at a time, one and then the other, just to give it a nice tug. So right then and there, I think that looks pretty darn good. By the way, this is a 1981 Honda Goldwing, and I'm putting this on here because I'm a klutz finding roads, and I kind of would like to use this as a Uber Eats bike. So there we go. And now we have to connect this to the power source. So on this bike, you have this compartment here. There's no tank. It does have a way of connecting an accessory terminal on here. We are simply going to put this on the existing connectors here. These are the accessory ones. Carpuride sent us this. That connects onto there. This should be a fairly easy, straightforward type of connection. So for this next setup, we have the wires. We're going to work just with the wires. You're going to need some sort of way of crimping your connector. Of course, this one's already got a fuse. You don't have to worry about that. And there's a red and then a negative. I'm going to connect this directly to my accessories on my fuses. You can put this directly onto the positive and negative of a battery, but the problem with that is that it's always on, and you can run into problems. But the best thing is to connect it to your accessories or your ignition or some sort of lights that you turn on. That way it's not a draw all the time. And what we're going to be doing is I'm just going to put a connector like this on here, and I'm going to use this to crimp it down. So that's going to hold. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then we'll put some tape on here. So I am somewhat lucky that the Goldwing has got this, and it hooks up. When you turn on the key, that's when that powers on. It's an accessories. Remove this bolt. Make sure I don't lose it. And now on to the positive. It's a little bit tight working here, but here we go. But once you do this, on this bike, at least this system is better. Like I prefer hooking things up to directly to the ignition or something. Let's see which way. Yeah, the notch is that way. Only one way of doing it, so there's no wrong way. I like that they did that. It's time to turn on the ignition to the accessories to see if this powers on. And there we go. There is the welcome screen. Support at Carpuride. So, all right. So very familiar. It's almost exactly the same as the car version, except this is weatherproof. So we need to connect it. So I have my phone, discoverable. Carpuride, you can see it's connected. So I'm going to go into my Bluetooth settings on the phone here, and I'm going to look for it. Bluetooth. I am getting the Carpuride 0383. I'm going to connect to it, and now it gives me a pairing option. If you can tell, it's very, very simple, like a Bluetooth. And I have an old iPhone. Nothing particularly great about my phone, but now I should be able to allow contacts. No, I don't like to do that, but now it should be connected. Here we go. Look at that. It changed the time already, and I can answer the phone. Oh, look at this. I got a GPS. Nice bright screen. I can tell right away that it's pretty bright. So here we go. Here is Sygic, which is the app I like to use for navigation. And it works well, so I can go into my apps. This is my phone apps. It's already connected. So far, I like it. This is a very simple system, very easy to read screen. So not like the phone, it's a little bit bigger. And the cool thing too is I'm going to be doing some Uber Eats type of delivery stuff. I can click on Uber Eats and have it directly on there. You don't have to rely on any given navigation software. You can just pick whatever you want. And I have a few. I have Maps.me, which is a Google type of application. So we're going to use this one. This one's been my favorite so far. Click on that. Oh, I can listen to my podcasts. So far, I am liking this. I'm not even talking about the maps. Just the idea that the screen is so bright. Right now, I have my visor on, my helmet. Normally, GPSs are very difficult to see when you have like a dark visor. And I can see the brightness on this. The white maps, it's just so much brighter than a regular GPS. This does work with gloves, and you need that if you're going to get a phone GPS for motorcycles. I think it works almost as good as the TomTom Rider. Things I like right away is that it's very responsive, connects to your phone extremely easy, and it's got all the apps that I have on my phone. So if you have any navigational apps, you can just go ahead and use this. It's a plug and play sort of system, and It's an extremely effective way. It works well with the gloves. The screen does get a little bit dirty, but I think that the dirtiness is due to my gloves being oily from working on stuff. And you can see all the apps that I have. I have my podcast thing, so if you wanted to play music on your cardo and your helmet, you could do that. And it's really good. It like even has like your calendar, and I can use Waze. One thing that I'm considering doing is Uber Eats. Now I don't have to remove this unit. I can just keep the phone in my pocket and still use Uber Driver. And of course you have all of these map softwares you can download for free. Some you have to pay. But even with these maps, the color is very easy to see. And that's one thing that I was worried with this. I thought maybe the screen would be as ineffective as the phone GPSs. The screens are really bad on phones on a motorcycle. But this actually works out better than I thought. And yeah, I do recommend this. It's you can get it from Carpuride. This is the second system that I have. So I have one in a car, and now this is their motorcycle version. And it's waterproof. I haven't tried the riding in the rain, but it does seem to be very robust. And you know, like a lot of times, here's the benefit with the app GPSs. You can try out 100 app mapping GPS. It's so much nicer than having a stuck mapping system from TomTom or Garmin. So I like the open source maps that you can get. It's much better, especially if you do off-roading. You can get off-roading maps. I like to know where I am, and I can be completely lost, but I always know where I am. So that's the Carpuride system. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you buy it online. I'll put a link in the description below. And thanks for watching. This has definitely modernized my Honda Goldwing.